One battle, one plain, and the fate of a subcontinent hung in the balance. The sun rose over the vast plains of Panipat, casting long shadows over the dusty earth. It was April 21st, 1526, and history was poised to be written in blood and fire. On one side, the Delhi Sultanate, led by Ibrahim Lodi, loomed like a wall of steel, elephants and soldiers numbering tens of thousands. On the other, a young, audacious prince from Central Asia, Babur, with barely 12,000 men, prepared to face an enemy almost 10 times his size. The winds carried the scent of anticipation, dust rising in spirals as cavalry stamped the ground, and the distant clanging of armor echoed like the drums of destiny. Babur was no ordinary prince. He had been raised amid the fierce mountains of Fergana, trained in war and strategy from childhood. He had faced defeat before, yet learned from it, transforming every loss into knowledge. Now he stared across the Panipat plains, understanding the impossible odds. But Babur was not a man to surrender to numbers alone. He whispered to his generals, "The weak may be many, but the wise can outmaneuver them. Today, strategy will write history." Meanwhile, Ibrahim Lodi, young but arrogant, had no such doubts. His army was enormous, and he relied on its sheer weight. Elephants towered like moving fortresses at the front, their tusks adorned with gold and cloth, trampling banners and soldiers alike. Behind them, a sea of infantry and cavalry stretched to the horizon. Lodi believed in the power of overwhelming force, in the intimidation of numbers, and in the loyalty of men raised to obey without question. He had never faced an enemy like Babur, one who would bend the rules of battle itself. As the armies approached each other, Babur unveiled his genius. He arranged his troops in the Tulugma formation, dividing them into flanks and reserves. Field artillery, a novelty in Indian warfare, lined the front, hidden behind chains of wagons that acted as mobile fortresses. Soldiers peeked from behind wooden barricades, ready to rain arrows and cannon fire upon the approaching masses. The battlefield became a chessboard, each move calculated, each cannon and cavalry unit placed for maximum effect. The clash began with thunder. The ground shook as Lodi's elephants charged like unstoppable mountains. Dust enveloped the plain, and the earth seemed to tremble with their steps. But then came the roar of Babur's cannons. For the first time, the elephants heard a sound that terrified them more than any sword. Panic spread through the front lines as the massive beasts trampled their own soldiers in confusion. Babur's cavalry seized the moment, flanking the disoriented army and cutting off retreat paths. Arrows darkened the sky, cannon smoke filled the air, and the screams of men and beasts echoed across the plains. The tide of battle shifted rapidly. Lodi's confidence faltered as his army became chaotic. The elephants, once symbols of power, now blocked his own men, and disorder spread from front to rear. Babur's disciplined troops pressed relentlessly, striking at the heart of the enemy. In the midst of chaos, Ibrahim Lodi's command broke. He fought valiantly, but the young prince's strategy left him no escape. As the sun reached its zenith, the battle ended in carnage. Thousands lay dead, banners were torn, and the Sultan himself fell amidst the carnage. Delhi had lost its king, its army shattered, and its destiny forever changed. Babur emerged from the battlefield, not merely as a victor, but as a man who had reshaped the fate of India. His victory was not just a conquest. It was the birth of the Mughal Empire, a dynasty that would rule for over 3 centuries. Panipat became legendary, not merely as a battlefield, but as a testament to the power of strategy over numbers, of courage over fear, and of vision over arrogance. The plains of Panipat whispered of triumph and tragedy alike. The echoes of that day, traveling through history to remind generations of the fine line between genius and desperation. The Battle of Panipat was more than a fight between armies. It was a lesson in audacity, intelligence, and resolve. Babur's victory showed that even when faced with overwhelming odds, careful planning, courage, and innovation could turn the tide. It was a story of fire and blood, of towering elephants and roaring cannons, of young men and dying kings, and it was a story that would echo across centuries. For in that single day, on that vast plain, the destiny of an entire subcontinent was written in cannon smoke and fallen banners. And so, the name Babur entered history, not just as a conqueror, but as a man whose vision reshaped India forever. The Battle of Panipat was not just a battle. It was a turning point, a moment when the impossible became possible,